Biden DOJ ended national security initiative aimed at countering China amid complaints about bias. Of course, he would end it. We know he's in the bag with China. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out. Also, subscribe if you're not already a subscriber and hit that alarm bell so you know when I put out new stuff. And check out the link, my link tree in the description that has my merch link where I have do not comply t-shirts and um, all the Let's Go Brandon t-shirts. Got all different styles of Let's Go Brandon t-shirts. And also check out my Patreon where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. All right, let's talk about this news. The Department of Justice announced Wednesday that it is ending its China Initiative program that was aimed at preventing spying by the Chinese Communist Party and launching a new broader approach, whatever they mean by broader approach. So my thing is, why now? Why now? With all the stuff that's going on with Ukraine and all that other stuff, why are you getting rid of Trump policy to try to stop China from spying on us? It makes absolutely no sense. We already know that when companies go over to China, they steal our intellectual property and things like that. But the China initiative was started in 2018 under the Trump administration to protect U.S. national security against Chinese spying on U.S. intellectual property and in academia. The DOJ website said it was aimed at, quote, identifying and prosecuting those engaged in trade secret theft, hacking, and economic espionage, as well as protecting our critical infrastructure against external threats through foreign direct investment and supply chain compromises. So how broader, I think that in itself right there is pretty broad. So how broad are they really trying to get with this? Why not just add stuff to this? Why get rid of the program altogether? Or restructure the program? Why get rid of it altogether? The program is coming to an end. In its place, the DOJ is instituting a new strategy for countering national state threats. I just don't trust it. I really just don't trust it. They said, quote, our goal with the strategy is to take a comprehensive approach that draws on the full extent of our tools and authorities to address the alarming rise in illegal activity from hostile nations. But we're not talking about hostile nations. We're talking about China, a specific nation. But Assistant Attorney General Matthew Olson, the DOJ's National Security Division, said, quote, this includes growing threats within the United States and to Americans and U.S. business abroad. But this was supposed to be specific to China. But Olson said the current threat landscape demands a broader approach and cited not just China, but Iran, Russia, and North Korea. Those I think I know they're friendly towards each other, they're allies, but I think those should be separate issues because Iran is separate from Russia, which is separate from North Korea. Even though they all work together, those are separate issues, and I think those are that should be the whole China espionage thing should be something totally different and separate from that. So why would they broaden it out? I just don't trust it. It just makes no sense to me from national security standpoint. But, quote, these nations seek to undermine our core democratic, economic, and scientific institutions, he continued, and they employ a growing range of tactics to advance their interests and to harm the United States. Defending American institutions and values against these threats is a national security imperative and a priority of the department. Olson insisted that the new approach does not mean that the agency is losing sight of the threat of China poses. Come on. See, they already knew what people was going to think of this. That's why they put that statement out. They said, quote, make no mistake, we will be relentless in defending our country from China, Olson said. Nobody believes you, Olson. Nobody believes in the Biden administration. We all know that China owns Biden. DOJ and his DOJ had been conducting a review of the China initiative and changes were expected. The DOJ was concerned that the old program stoked anti-Asian bias after receiving input from the Asian American community. What? You haven't heard anything about the Asian American community saying, hey, get rid of this program. So This is crazy. So we put that in front of national security. Are you for real? But Attorney General Merrick Garland and the Biden administration have been under fire. From activists and faculty at some universities over the effort. They said it was harming U.S. competitiveness in research and disproportionately targeting people based on race. Protesters stood outside the DOJ last month saying the initiative unfairly target Chinese professors, and nearly 200 Yale professors recently signed a letter to Garland asking him to end the initiative. How many of these professors probably had some ties to the Chinese government? A former Justice Department official lamented the U.S. quote stopped fighting for the China initiative on January 20th, 2021, the day President Biden took office. And I believe that. I believe it. I've stated as much. The former official told Fox News China was successful in framing the issue as one of racial bias and that the U.S. stopped trying to counter this. Yeah. Of course they're going to call it. Look at the left. They call everything racist and racial bias and all this other stuff to try to stop you or manipulate you into doing what they want you to do. Quote, we gave up. The champagne corks will be popping at CCP offices. They won the disinformation campaign, the former official said. And I agree, because left-leaning think tank Brennan Center of Justice argued earlier this year that the initiative should be ended. Of course, Brennan. And in part because it hurts the U.S. by scaring away Chinese and Chinese-American scientists. Of course, Brennan would be for the Chinese government. But even people, it's not just left-leaning too. I see some people on the right saying that China isn't a threat. We need to stop talking about China and all this other stuff. But I don't think anything could be further from the truth. I think China is a threat, and I think we should be paying attention to this. But, quote, to be clear, China poses a legitimate threat of espionage that the Justice Department and FBI must take seriously, Brennan Center authors Michael German and Alex Liang said. But too often the Justice Department has brought cases under the China initiative that have not targeted espionage or intellectual property theft by Chinese spies, but minor administrative violations by scientists of Chinese ancestry who are not suspected of affiliation with the Chinese government. Congress is currently trying to pass legislation to combat China, though there is significant disagreement between the House Democrats and Senate Democrats about what should be included. Congressional leaders are indicating they hope to reach some sort of compromise in the coming month to get the China competition bill to the president's desk. And if that bill passed, I think it's going to be soft on China. It's going to be a bunch of compromise because a lot of Democrats and some Republicans are all owned by China. And I think it's going to be a soft bill, and it's really going to do nothing to stifle China's espionage. But let me know what you think about all this. Do you think China is a threat, or do you think this is nothing? Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out democrepublics.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.